Hello, and welcome to the beachy farmhouse. And this is Ida. I'm sorry for this first picture. It didn't register as being lengthwise. So it's on the sideways. uh, sorry for that. I was at the yeah. So that was filmed on a Saturday, and this was on a Sunday after. And I was replanting my tomato plants, and I'm sorry for the shaky table which my camera was standing on at the same table as I was working on, so it was a bit of a weird angle. um, yeah, and I didn't talk anything in this, so this is afterwards me playing over. And it's a long segment here of me planting with you seeing my back a lot, so I'm sorry for that. The filming was awkward. And I didn't really want to remove this footage because it was so short video if I did. So here I was writing which type of tomato plant I had on the pots, so I knew which was which of those. Uh, it was called Mormond, this first big tomato plant, and the smaller ones was called Venus. Um, yeah, so the bigger ones are supposed to be big tomato plants, and the smaller ones are supposed to be those cherry ones, but orange. Uh, so it's beef tomatoes, these two first ones. Uh, but sad to say, they haven't grown much since I did this, and was 4 weeks ago, I think. Since I filmed this, I'm sorry for not putting it up earlier, but yeah, I think it's 4 weeks or more since I did this, and they pretty much haven't grown. So, but I'm starting to try to put them out now. So I'm hoping the sun do its thing and they grow, so I can get some tomatoes this year before it's too late. I hope, hopefully. Yeah. So this is me removing some of the smaller plants that there were no idea to try to transplant them all because they were so tiny. Repot or whatever you call it. I call it transplant. I don't know if that's the word. It's more repotting them to bigger or their own pots. Yeah. So later you see what I bought when I was at the greenhouse that sold those plants that I was in the first clip, but I didn't show me replanting those. I'm just showing them afterwards when they were in their pots later. So yeah, maybe I should speed this up, but I don't know if I don't want a film to have a too short film, so I didn't speed this up very much. But it's me planting for a long while here, so I hope you have the patience with me. It was, yeah, and you see my back like this a lot because I had the bag with the soil underneath the table, or next to the table, but on the ground. So yeah, it's a bit awkward angle. And I'm also sorry for me putting the pot down there and not putting it next to me on the ground when I did it, because now you have this in front of me or in front of the camera when me planting for the rest of it. I didn't think about that when I did it, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but I had my hair purple, or it's still purple, but it's grown out a bit now. But yeah, it was a bit newer here on this film, so maybe you can tell that it's a purple hair on it when I'm up a bit and when I'm not cut off. It was so hard to get a good angle on the filming this, because I didn't have any good thing to stand my phone on when I filmed it. So it's just on the table propped up on something. And I guess I'm said of sorry for that a few times now, so I'm sorry for me saying sorry all the time too. Maybe you can have a sorry count in this video. Someone can count how many times I did say that. Yeah. Yeah, you can tell. See my head a bit. At least I looked at the camera once. At least happy no one came and talked to me while I did this. Because I'm outside and you should tell where all my neighbors live. Well, maybe you can't tell too much. But... And I don't know, but I think you can hear the traffic outside too when the cars drive by a bit. But I don't think it's too noisy, because it wasn't that many. So I think this footage of me planting is soon coming to an end. And I showed you, but yeah, maybe it wasn't. I think maybe it was still Saturday when I planted, because I changed, because it's still sunny. Yeah, I think it was Sunday later on. Well, here I show you the plants I bought, the flowers that I want going to plant in the other pots around. And then I showed you my tomato plants and something I was going to repot a bit. Well, half of it anyway. And then the last flowers I bought. And here I show you when I have repotted the flowers. They look a bit small by then, they have actually grown since I put them in. Um, so I guess I'm gonna have to film a new one to show you later next week or something. Like this one has more flowers on it now. I lost one when I went, and that's my strawberries. They hadn't grown that much yet, but they're flowering now. And then that's the green one is the one I repotted from the red pot, uh, and that pink one was the new burley bot one. And then here's some more of my purchases. It was 10 flowers for 70. What did it say? 79 kronor, or did it say 75? In the first video. And this is my sunflowers. They were a bit whimsical, so they fell down, but I binded them up since then. But they haven't grown much either. I don't know why. I have sown some seed from the ones that died after this too. And that's the last ones of the newly bought flowers. They were not quite as purple as the other ones. I did that on purpose. I did want some change. And here's my tomato plants inside again after I put them in. As you can tell, the three small ones are one kind of tomatoes, and the two large, taller ones are another kind. And here I'm showing you how it looked outside before I was cleaning. And then I think this is the Sunday one actually, because it's not so sunny. So as you can hear, what a lot of leaves. And then here it's after I cleaned up the leaves. And then I showed you the back side of my garden, and this was the outside where I have all the mint in that planter. It's just mint, pretty much. But I hadn't cut down all of the stems from last year yet. And there was some weed growing in there. But I have put some new soil in after this is filmed, but it took a few weeks to. Yeah, and that there you can tell that there were a lot of leaves on the backside too. So I was sweeping those up too. So here's the after of the leaves. As you can tell, I never cleaned the table while I filmed. So, but I've cleaned that table like 4 times already this summer because it's been a lot of pollen out there. And this is what I had on my door before I changed it, and this was my Easter wreath that I made last year, and this was the Easter wreath I made several years before, but I thought it didn't look as Eastery, so I'm using it as a summer one. So I changed to this one. Goodbye.